welcome to Parasol Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for another Monday minisode.
Yeah, we've got a follow-up Monday mini here where if you look back to our last Monday mini, we talked about 5 phrases that are very useful for getting you the best prices at a garage sale or even just opening up communication and getting that connection going. And today we're going to follow up on that with 5 more phrases that we use at garage sales. So let us know in the comments below, did we miss one either last week or this week? What are the phrases you use? Did you use any of these successfully at a garage sale over this last weekend?
So this first phrase I use to determine whether I should spend a lot of time there. And sometimes it does burn you, but I usually ask, did you get swamped this morning? And they're like, oh yeah, people were here at 5 a.m. and we had so much stuff and it's pretty much all gone. That's kind of a signal to me to be pretty quick at this garage sale, that there probably isn't much left. Now, that doesn't mean something hasn't been left behind, right? But I will say, especially when I go to community sales, when I use this line, it's been very helpful for me to navigate how much time I should spend at a place. At the same time, you know, it allows you to be in a place where, you know, they've already been swamped. They already sold a lot of stuff. And so now maybe they're willing to sell things for cheaper, right? Because now you're like, oh, maybe they just want to make sure they actually sell everything, and maybe there's some more negotiation room here.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, especially because sometimes they'll give you the clue of like, yeah, I had X, Y, and Z, and it's all gone, and you're like, well, yeah, not even worth being.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to ask it, but you got to.
It's worth it for sure. But then you feel really good when you say, have you already been swamped? And they say, yeah, I mean, they've pretty much half of my stuff's already gone. But then you find like a little gold mine that people have forgotten.
Oh, 100%.
That's a good feeling. That's a good feeling. All right. So the next one I think is funny. You use this one significantly more than me. And I think I need to use it. Now, so the phrase is, well, I was thinking it was going to be garage sale prices, because a lot of times people will give you a number that's just astronomically high. And they're almost at retail levels or like high eBay comp levels, especially we all talk about when you go to the garage sales and they actually have eBay comps, you know, printed out, put next to things. I don't use this one too much. Part of it might be the people pleaser in me. I just don't want to seem offensive. However, it might actually be useful for me to try, because there are times when I use some of the phrases from, you know, the previous week, like, well, how much were you thinking for this? And when you get a number, you know, it's something you could sell for $30 and they're like, I was thinking like $40. Well, okay, I'm not, there's no room in here at all. So that might be where it's like, oh, okay. And then you kind of put it down. And if they said, well, what were you thinking? That's when maybe I'd say like, well, I was thinking like garage sale prices around.
Yeah, you got to figure out a way to say it, you know, but I look at it this way. It's kind of like a ship that's out in the ocean, right? And you know, you have to drop that anchor. And the anchor's kind of halfway down, right? And you know you got to drop this, but for a reason you're not dropping it. When they ask that question, like, what were you thinking? And it's a super high price item. When you say, well, it is garage sales, I was looking more for garage sale prices, that anchor just unloads and just sinks to the bottom.
Yeah.
And you've established where the price point should be. Yeah. Now that could burn you.
It could definitely burn you,
but it could also bring you some great deals.
Yeah, and I would say I typically tend more if I'm gonna really anchor low like this. This is when I've grown in as a reseller and being willing to say, well, to be honest with you, that's about what I could get for it, and I'm a reseller.
Okay,
right? that's one I'll use. Like that's probably how much I could sell for on eBay if I were to sell it. I've got to have to list it, take pictures, ship it. I'm gonna lose a little bit of money on all of that, and it's probably gonna take about 6 months or so to sell. So I would need to be able to pick it up for this price to make it worth it. So I typically do that to explain why I'm saying, hey, garage sale prices, as opposed to, well, I was thinking garage sale price, because it could come across condescending. It could, you know, someone could be like, well, sorry. You know?
I haven't had anybody get mad at me yet, but you know, who knows? I mean, you know, who knows the conversations that people had, like, hey, that big Latino guy with the beard, man, that guy was what a piece of work. I'm sure it happens. So, it's all good. All right. Now, this next one I use a lot when there's something super high priced. And the reason I use it,
it's a good one.
I believe is this the right word? It unattaches or it disattaches. I don't know what the right word is. You're the English guy, but it removes the person from
detaches them
from the item and brings them into like a place of reality. So what I say is, well, It says, I say, let's say it's a high priced like jacket or something. I say, it seems this piece meant a lot to you. Or there seems to be an attachment.
You're really
to
attached to this.
Yeah, you're really attached to this. And then either I get the, oh yeah, this was something I grew up with and blah, 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 blah. And you still are able to maybe, work a deal because then now you've actually cared about what they thought about it and they know that you care. And so they're willing to make a deal. Or they go, actually, no, and they start thinking about it like, yeah, it's kind of doesn't mean a lot. I don't know why I have it priced at high. And I've had that happen many times. And they're like, you know what? I'll give it to you for whatever. And they'll give me like half the price or whatever. Right. So, and it's worked. I haven't had to use it a lot because lately a lot of people have been willing to just sell. But there have been those moments where there's that item and I'm like, I really want to pick up that item. And I got to find a way for that person to see the reality of like, it's not worth as much.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, if they don't really want to sell stuff, they're not going to sell stuff. But if they're trying to sell things, which most people are at a garage sale, in fact, a lot of them, you'll hear things like it's all going to go to Goodwill at the end, but they'll still try and haggle you and haggle you and haggle you. And yeah, once you kind of do that, and that kind of leads to the next one, especially when they say things like it's going to go to Goodwill. But even not when somebody spent a whole bunch of time setting up all this stuff for a garage sale, one of the most powerful phrases you can use, especially if you've got them. So awkward silence is great as the person doing the negotiating. But when they're giving you awkward silence on a price, then it's like, all right, I need to fill the silence because I don't want to sit here in awkwardness for a long time and finally come up to their price. So this is the phrase I would use. Setting the scene here. I offer something. It's lower than they want. They're sitting there. They're giving me some awkward silence. You'll never have to look at it again. Or look, you won't even have to take this. You won't have to worry about taking this back inside your house. And that phrase works so well when you tell them, come on, you'll never have to see it again, or you're not going to have to lug this thing back into your house. A lot of times that's enough to like break that silence and be like, yeah, you're right. Because especially if it's, it happens all the time. It's a husband and wife or something like, yeah, get rid of that thing. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'll joke around with them. You got to read the room. Right. But I'll be like, imagine all the free space you'll have now. Imagine never having to look at this thing again. Imagine never having to haul it out. You got to read the room, but it's been great. It's been great. All right. And now the last one, which I don't know if Mike feels comfortable using this one, but I can use this one and it works for me. If somebody's like stuck on a number and I can't get them to the number that I want, I'll just say, hey, help me feel like I'm walking away with a good deal. And sometimes people are like, all right, whatever, fine. And I'll give it to you. Other people will be like, yeah, this is a good deal. You're like, oh, well, I guess I can't negotiate anymore. What are your thoughts on that last phrase?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That I don't know if I would use that much, but I can see how that could work, right? I think the little bonus one that I'd add that's similar to that, I think, is when they say something like, well, maybe just come back later at this price, or if it doesn't sell, you can come back later. I get that a lot. So then I'll use something similar to help me feel like I'm walking away with a good deal. It's like, well, what's the difference between now and then? Like, I could just get it now. Like, let's just do the deal now. And people want to make the deal happen, so it works. But I don't know if I'd use this one specifically to help me feel like I'm walking away with a good deal. I don't know. It's good. Maybe it'll work.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe, again, different personalities.
Yeah, different personalities.
Right. I think
we play it a little differently for sure.
Oh, 100%. But I've seen you do some great negotiation, and like, I probably wouldn't have said what Mike said, but it worked out for him. So
yeah, man, I do what I got to do.
There you go. But hopefully all these phrases help you out from asking if they're swamped to figure out what's going on. Bringing them down to reality by letting them know that you're looking at garage sale prices, disattaching them from an item by asking if it means a lot to them, and offering them that they'll never have to look at it again. And finally, maybe putting on the ball on their court and saying, hey, help me feel like I'm getting a good deal. And hopefully all those you'll be able to use at some point in time to get you some awesome deals at garage sales. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.